So Mystery has a original vision that I think is still true for the company, even though the company has gone through a bit of a pivot in the last few years. So our overall vision is to use technology to make people happier. And we started as a B2C company, and during COVID moved to becoming a B2B company, which actually I think is a much better business for us to be in. And so, in what we're ultimately trying to do is make people the happiest they can be at work. And so, how do we do that? If you look at the way that work has worked for, or just say corporate work has worked for a long time, there are, all of work has, or all of corporate work has centered around this idea of like a physical office. So you have teams come together and they work in the same space and they bump into each other and have hallway conversations, and they go out to maybe happy hour or team events after work, and that model certainly leaves a lot of people out, but that model worked for a long time in terms of organically building team camaraderie. I think what's happened over the last couple years, now that companies had switched online very quickly during COVID and lockdown, is that everyone over the last couple of years has figured out the mechanics of working together. Uh, but as you see now with sort of the Great Recession, is that teams haven't figured out how to build that sense of camaraderie and that sense of connectivity among their teams. So what I think you see a lot now is companies trying to rush everyone back to the office because it's the only sort of model they know that works to build team cohesion. However, what we've learned also in remote work is that there's a ton of upside to that. So, we see that as a real opportunity to take the best of remote work, which allows, much more diverse teams in terms of abilities and flexibility and schedule and geographic locations to come together and work together. But how can we create that sense of camaraderie and happiness in that remote context? So, Mystery will, over the coming years, I'm sure, be exploring a lot of different dimensions of how we create happiness for people at work. The model that we have today is that we offer virtual team building events that are actually fun. So I don't know if you've ever been to a virtual happy hour. They're usually very boring. It's a bunch of people sitting around a video, all sipping beer and answering one question at a time in a round robin. And usually after about 15 minutes, people are ready to peace out. Where we have virtual events that are fun and engaging and put people outside of their comfort zone. And really, what we're doing is giving people that opportunity to connect over something besides project deliverables. What we found is that doing that in a way that uh, you know includes elements of surprise is part of the secret sauce of bringing people together. And so, one of the things that I think is a little bit different about Mystery compared to other virtual event companies is that there are many companies out there that do sort of virtual events, an increasing number of them in remote work. And those events are as good as you think they are. What they're selling is the commodity of the event itself. On the other hand, there are companies that offer morale analytics and insights into team connectivity. What happens a lot in those cases is that we find that HR teams will spin up these initiatives and they will learn all this information about their team, and they will discover that, oh yeah, it looks like our team is super unhappy and people are about to leave. And we call that they're being they're helplessly informed, that they have all of the insights about their team but not the action. So the way our business model works is that we want to be able to help teams measure and understand morale and team connectivity, but to be able to offer something tangible that allows them to solve that problem, and then measure the impact of uh, that engagement and those experiences on team morale. And what we found by doing that is that it moves the conversation away from team events as a commodity service, and it allows us to get to the heart of the issue, where what we're really offering is this ability to engage teams in a new way and create opportunities for teams to build connection. And what we find is that, unsurprisingly, when people like have great connections and connectivity with their colleagues, they also do better work and they also are more likely to stay at those places. So, by kind of connecting those two pieces together, what we're really looking to do is sort of demonstrate the ROI of remote engagement. And I think ultimately what we hope to see is that companies will realize that there are a ton of benefits to remote work, and that the challenges that they've seen trying to quick jump into remote work are actually quite solvable. I think Mystery will still have a business model in a world where companies do return to a physical office space. We also offer in-person events. But our vision for the future is that remote work, at least in part, is likely here to stay because there are so many advantages. So we're investing a lot in that space.